You see a woman with disability, and the barriers that she faces on daily basis, that is triple jeopardy. First as a woman, secondly as a woman with disability, and lastly the barriers. These barriers could be infrastructural, attitudinal, institutional, medically, economically, and many other barriers. So for a woman or a girl with disability living in this country called Nigeria, it's not the wheelchair, the crutches, the hearing aid, the glasses, or whatever assistive device or mobility aid she's using. Is the barriers that are stopping us. The ramps that were refused to be provided, the education that was refused to be given to her, the economic inclusion or the empowerment that was not given to a girl or a woman with disabilities are the issues. They are the real issues, not the disability.
That talks about debts, because you call it the three-layer challenges that comes around, and I like the way you were able to lay it down basically. But let's look at the focus to why women with disability experience a double layer of marginalization, just like you've mentioned, both as a woman and as a person with disability. You mentioned infrastructure. So how do you able to navigate through these layers that talks about the challenges you encounter on a daily following the phase or the layer at every step of the way?
Yes, Article 6 or Section 6 of Nigerian Disability Act talks about the right to having access to everything. And when we say everything, we mean infrastructures, information, technology, and other things around that needed to be provided for a woman with disability to thrive without being provided. For infrastructure, which you mentioned, we want to see an opportunity whereby at the entry and exit points of every building, whether it's a school, a workplace, a church, a mosque, parks and gardens, wherever it is accessible and inclusive for a woman with disabilities to move in independently in her wheelchair, like a princess that she is or a queen that she is, and be able to navigate her way from the sitting room to the toilet, from the toilet to the kitchen, from the kitchen to the office, without being assisted. When that is done, then we are getting there gradually. And this is what we want to see. Provide our needs, and you will see us succeeding together as a country, as an individual, as an institution, or wherever it is.
Okay, ma'am. So many people still see disability through the lens, of charity rather than rights, rather than them having all the rights that they should have. Now, how does this mindset limit their access, dignity, and their participation in every other activity?
Are you talking about persons with disabilities, yes, or from the general public?
Both ways, both the persons with disabilities and even the general public.
Okay, that's a good question. Yes, for us in the disability community, yes, according to JONAPID report on education, only 3% out of the over 20 million of persons with disabilities that we have in this country are educated. So because of this minimal number, we tend to not knowing our rights.
So the education, what restricts them from being educated? Is there
poverty, attitude? Okay, one of the things that helped me as a woman with disability was my family. They so much believed in me that even when neighbors tried to confuse my parents by saying, don't focus on her, focus on the other children. They said, no, she's the most intelligent among them. We will spend our last penny on her to make sure she's educated. And today, I went to school. I am educated. I graduated from University of Abuja. Right now, I'm doing my postgraduate studies from the University of Nasarawa State University. And I still have plans to become whoever God wants me to become in the future. That being said, we need to focus on children with disabilities right now, because we have many of them in different homes, different places, schools, and special schools, but they are not being attended to efficiently and effectively because of one, attitude, two, poverty, three, lack of facilities in our educational systems or structures.
I was going to ask how it was coping in the education.
No, it wasn't an easy thing. Yes.
Lack of facility and all of that.
Yes, some are even hiding their children at homes under the bed.
So there's homeschooling in this.
So how can you homeschool to education level? Like, do we have?
I'm just looking at it because these days we have the technology has actually helped.
I don't think it has been well integrated into our tertiary institutions and even our primary and secondary education.
Yes.
We don't have such. Except maybe private facilities, which is just
expensive,
very expensive, and just for the primary, and secondary level of education.
Yes, you really raised a very important point, because parents of children with disabilities are not finding it easy when they try to enroll their children at different schools, either public or private. They reject them because they don't have the equipment, the devices, and the facilities to take care of them.
Yes.
So many children are at home doing nothing, and they need caregivers, they need teachers to be able to put them together on the learning environment. So we need to start making sure that social inclusion is prioritized in our educational system, starting from the curriculum. How is it inclusive? The policies we have on education, how have they been implemented? For example, we have a policy on inclusive education, but our educational background, our educational systems are not inclusive.
Yes.
Okay. True. All right. In your experience, what you have gone through in life, what are the most common barriers? Like, let's talk about social, physical, or institution that keeps women with disability out of leadership and governance.
Yes, one of the major things that is stopping women with disabilities from thriving on decision-making processes are the attitudes of the people. They don't believe that women with disabilities have the capacity, the competency, the character to aspire for positions or to compete with their female counterpart or even male counterparts. So they keep you aside. I remember when I was on a live radio and TV program during my campaign in 2019, when someone called and said, yes, they believe in the other two candidates, but for me, I should go home and sit down.
Was it because of the fact that you were a woman? Or?
A woman and a woman with disability.
I was going to ask that because I remember when you went through that process.
Yeah.
You had your voice, your people supported you. and wanted you to come out. So how was it for you taking that and dealing with it and also thriving in advocacy for it?
Yes, by God's grace, I was able to run for the office, even with the obstacles, the challenges, the barriers, the problems that accompanied that. I was focused. I never allow anything deter me or put away my attention from my objective and my goal. I kept fighting for that position, even when people were saying, step down for others, you are not going far, do this, do that. I said, no, I kept moving. I kept moving. And today, history was made, record was broken as the first woman with disability that ran with over 4,000 candidates. I was on the ballot.
Amazing.
Yes, I did not win,
yes,
but I have won the process. Yeah.
The statement was made. This is really encouraging and very impactful. Empowerment goes beyond access, and it includes voice, representation, and decision making. What does true empowerment look like for women with disability? Because I know you run the advocacy thing, you talk to women, you go from every stage, from the grassroots, from homes, from every angle, to speak to women to understand empowerment, their voice, and standing tall for themselves. So how does this play out for you when it comes to empowerment? Because we want to look at exclusion and gaining grounds in terms of empowerment as women.
Yes, empowerment means a lot to me and to women with disabilities, because when you send a girl or a woman with disability to school, you're empowering her. And after she graduated, you say, okay, I'm going to mentor you. I want you to be a great woman tomorrow. I want you to be the likes of Alakija and other great women in Africa and outside Africa. You can do it. Then you begin to show the skills of that transformative leadership in the lives of this women, by mentoring them, by coaching them, by showing them the way, holding their hands, leading them to become those great women. So when we talk about empowerment, we should not forget about the 3 E's. And what are those E's? Education, enablement, and engagement. Engage us, educate us, and create an enabling environment for us to thrive. Whether you are around or you are not around, we are there living an independent life, and that is and that is the meaning of empowerment.
Okay, but let me just say it's two questions in one, right? The first is, is there a discrimination even amongst people with different abilities? I don't like to call them disabilities. We all have different abilities. So is there a discrimination with the male folks and the female folks, even in that setting? Yes, there is. Okay. You know, the recognized name by United Nations is persons with disabilities. That's the right terminology to use. Okay. And I so much believe in your question, because as it is right now, women with disabilities are at a 0% level of participation when it comes to leadership, governance, and decision-making process. So we still have more men engaged in that?
Yes, some men have aspired for elective positions. They believed in them, they voted them, and they were on those seats for 4 years, some even 8 years before they left.
Interesting.
But for women with disabilities, I am not sure we have an elective woman with disability in the political sphere, starting from councillor to local government chairman to state member of the House of Representative, state representative, and governorship, whatever position you can call. we do not have that record yet. And we want to do it through this special reserve seats bill that we are advocating for. We are not saying, Senator so and so, leave your seat for a woman. No, we are advocating for additional seats. So if you are a senator today planning to run in 2027, that should not threaten you at all. Support the bill so that we have more women. When you have more women on the table, many good decisions come into conclusion, and from conclusion to implementation. So we need to start putting away some negative thoughts against women's leadership. It is very important to Nigerian government, and we are asking everybody to come and join this campaign and make sure it is passed into law.
All right, Lois, before I let you go, what personal experience has really shaped your passion for disability rights and inclusive governance?
Yes, I am passionate about it because of the exclusion, the level of exclusion that we have been sidelined, we have been left behind, segregated, excluded from participating as a right. It is our right to participate in the political processes, and we are not given that right, the opportunity to run, to aspire, and to lead. And we are asking for a simple thing. Include us in your agenda. Include us in your party manifesto and constitution. Include us in everything political. Let us be there. Let us have representatives in those committees, in those leadership positions that you are appointing people and electing people. We have what it takes to become great leaders in the Nigerian leadership system. So what are we waiting for? Let's tap into those resources and ensure the right is given to us, and all of us will smile at it.
I like the fact that you talked about the policy makers, the government institutions,
Yes.
the Stability Act, and all of that, which should be the major focal points in which women should be looking at in terms of putting it right. So you talked about policy decisions and all that. So for you, for a woman who is watching right now, what's your word to her who understands your story and is in that position? So what's your one word to her going forward with all the laid down institutional guideline you've given that should work for her to become great? Because I've seen you with presidents. Let's not even hide that fact. That shows a lot of determination because you put yourself out there. So what's your one word to that woman watching now?
Yes, she shouldn't give up. She should keep fighting. She should keep advocating. She should continue asking, and she should keep showing up.
Okay.
Keep showing up at events, at conferences, and keep speaking. When you go for an event,
Keep quiet.
take the mic and air your views to everyone listening. People are listening and people are watching. One day they will look out for you and say, where is that lady? I want this position to be given to her. People will start recommending you. People start nominating you for bigger opportunities. And that's when things will fall in place.
Amazing.
All right, thanks so much, Lois Alta. Thank you for your courage, your leadership, and unwavering commitment to inclusion. Today's conversation reminds us that disability is not inability. Exclusion is not
Is actually the problem.
It's actually the problem.
Empowerment itself is not charity. And inclusion is not an option.
It is.
And governance that includes is governance that does not fail.
I'm telling you, so true progress is measured not by how we treat the most privileged, but by how we include the most marginalized. You're watching Women's World on Global Television. We've been discussing from exclusion to empowerment, disability, gender, and inclusive governance with our guest, Lois Alter. Thank you so much, Lois, for your time on Women's World. When we return after this time out, we'll explore how other empowerment aids women in building capacity. Please stay with us.
Thank you.
For too long, women were told to stay quiet, to endure in silence, to face challenges alone. But silence never defines us.
You're not going to marry a man who will oppress you, intimidate you, and make you feel less of a human being.
Across Nigeria and beyond, women are breaking barriers, from entrepreneurs building thriving businesses to mothers transforming communities to everyday women.
Women's World celebrates all sides of womanhood. We share untold stories of women from pain to victory.
This is more than heard and to be empowered.
Every story matters. Every voice counts because women are empowered to change families, communities, and the nation.
Join us as we showcase women's untold stories.
From pain to victory.
This is Women's World on Global Television.
Your story, your health, your power.
For too long, women were told to stay quiet, to endure in silence, to face challenges alone. But silence never defines us.
You're not going to marry a man who will oppress you, intimidate you, and make you feel less of a human being.
Across Nigeria and beyond, women are breaking barriers, from entrepreneurs building thriving businesses to mothers transforming communities to everyday women.
Women's World celebrates all sides of womanhood. We share untold stories of women from pain to victory.
This is more than a show, it is a platform for women to be seen, heard, and to be empowered.
Every story matters. Every voice counts because women are empowered to change families, communities, and the nation.
Join us as we showcase women's untold stories.
From pain to victory.
This is Women's World on Global Television.
Your story, your health, your power.
It's good to have you back on Women's World. We're still here, and of course, we'll spotlight issues making or shaping the lives and voices, leadership of women across Nigeria and beyond. Our focus on this particular segment is Women, Peace and Security, a global framework that recognizes the critical role of women in conflict prevention, peace building, and post-conflict recovery.
And of course, in Nigeria, this framework is taking practical shape through a project currently being implemented by Clean Foundation across 5 states: Imo, Plateau, Kaduna, Nasarawa, and of course, Benue State region, with unique security and social dynamics.
The project aims to strengthen women's participation in peace processes, improve community security responses, and ensure that women's voices are not just heard, but acted upon.
Joining us in this studio is our first male guest. Yes, it's our first male on the show. Bernard Ekobe, Programs Manager at Clean Foundation. Thank you for being with us, Bernard.
Thank you very much.
Is it he for she?
No, we had to bring in the he for she because it's been women all the while. So
women all the while.
Basically, we are marginalized.
No, you're not. So you're blessed amongst the women.
Actually.
That's what we'll tell you.
Yeah, actually blessed.
All right, Bernard, let's start from the basics. What is the Women, Peace and Security Project, and why is it important for Nigeria at this time?
Okay, thank you very much, and I'm pleased and delighted to be in your midst today. Especially happy that I'm the very first male guest, and so you won't. I'm hoping that after this program, I would have more of my clips being.
Of course.
It's just like they refuse to always come. I don't know.
Anyways, thank you very much once again, and just correction. I am not the program manager. I'm the senior program officer with the Clean Foundation. Yes, Clean Foundation has been in existence for almost 30. Next year would be 30 years.
Oh, interesting.
It has been in existence covering areas of public safety and security, women participation in governance processes, talking about police reform, security reform, justice sector reform as well, and a whole lot. But currently, we are currently engaged with a program on women, peace and security, which is something that is not new to us. Why is it not new to us? Because for over a decade, Nigeria has been faced with various challenges. In fact, since the lifespan of what the entity called Nigeria, we've been faced with numerous security challenges. And at the core of it are women. And most times we just forget that women bear the brunt of these problems. And yes, I'm not, well, it is obvious, it's not a hidden secret that most times again, men are responsible for the conflicts we face in not only in Nigeria but most parts of the world. And but those are the receiving end are the women folks. So what are we doing to actually bring women to the table when we talk about peace processes? So we get instances where, for example, there's been a conflict on the plateau, and we're not talking about reconciliation. You get instances where it's only the men that are on the table, talking about peace processes. The men remain where they are. The women are the ones when you have such conflicts that are raped. Women are the ones that, there's this popular saying that when you hear run, 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 the woman will first of all not run. The first thing she's running is into danger. She's asking, where's my child? While she's thinking, where's my child? She's also thinking, what are they going to eat if they live here? And they're like, oh, it's cold already. And all these things, there's danger happening around her. It's already cold. And she's asking, okay, are they putting on clothes? Let me pack one or two things for them so that they will not be cold, because we don't know where we are going to. What are they going to eat? We forget the fact that they are there. Then we talk about peace process. Okay, we're no longer fighting. Let's come to the table to discuss and make peace. And you will not find a single woman there. And you ask yourself, why? We, the men, will come up and say, okay, I forgive you, I can forgive that. But have we really asked ourselves, how are the women folks feeling? Even if the male folks have forgiven whatever has transpired. But again, you've forgotten the fact that a woman's child that she carried in her home for 9 months was killed. Her parents were also maimed or killed. And we are not talking about peace. And they are nowhere in the equation. And so we most often times in this line forget the fact that although women bear the brunt of the entire conflict issues, they also are not captured when peace processes are talked about. Again, the Women, Peace and Security agenda is flowing from the UNHCR, that is the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, that talks about women must fully be represented in all spheres. Talking about participation, talking about prevention, talking about early warning signs, talking about recovery and reconciliation. But how far have we done as Nigerians? We look at our security architecture. You can actually, by hand, yes, you come to the military, we say we have the female corps right now, but what's that number like? We go to the police, what's the number like? I dare to say probably in the next 5, 10 years, we might still not see a female IG. Not because that, but because they have not probably gotten to the ranks that they will be appointed that position. But why and what are those things that have held them back over the years to have not been on the center of discussion? You talk about in our political sphere, you can basically at the tip of your fingers count the numbers of women that are even vying for offices. And now the normal situation or the normal conversations women folks will come out to say is that we are the women. They do not come out and all that stuff. But again, have we created a level playing ground for them to actually participate in governance?
Okay, so I see that you've given us a breakdown to all of this conversation, guiding our audience to understand why we really brought in the he for she to give us this guide, and you've given us that. But let's look at the participation of the states. We've seen that you have 5 states, for instance, are going to be implemented: Imo, Plateau, Kaduna, Nasarawa, and Benue, selected for implementation. Why this particular region? Is it because of the conflicts? Related issues, because you mentioned where women always run into danger when they try to when they hear the word run and all that. So why the states?
So if you prior to this cultural project being sponsored by the Norwegian embassy, we had already been in 2 major states, that's Plateau and Kaduna. It's no gain saying we already know. I won't start preaching to the converted. You know the issues with the Northwest and also the North Central. Okay. Plateau State for a very long time has been the epicenter of a lot of conflict in the North Central. Talking about farmer header conflict, talking about ethno-religious conflicts. We've heard things, we've seen things that has happened in the Plateau. Again, if you go to Kaduna, we know the things and the issues that also have happened in Kaduna, especially the southern part of Kaduna, in a very long time. But now, we looked at also Benue. Okay. Coming from Benue State is also not new to this. I mean, just recently last year, we know the issues that have happened in the Benue. Now, the major addition now is Imo State, coming from a state where majority of the times they have been agitated for secessionist agitation. They've been agitation for this secessionist. They want to break out. And again, you would see instances when you say sit at home. There are women that their livelihood depends on a day-to-day trade. Those women that sell akara, those women that they go to the streets to hawk 1 or 2 things. So when you say sit at home,
how they survive?
How would they survive? There are women that are breadwinners. There are women that are basically all and all in their families. So when we look at these situations and we look at the north, the southeast, we said, okay, Imo State is one particular state that we could also pilot these issues. Good enough, Kaduna and Plateau had also started doing things around the women, peace and security agenda. Plateau State has passed its 3rd action plan. Kaduna State has also passed its 2nd action plan. But the question again is, how well have they implemented this action plan? It's beautiful and it's good enough that we have an action plan. But are we actually following the action plan? I listened to your guest earlier on. There's Disability Act, there's law already in motion. But again, we even see current buildings developed by government. They are not accessible. Now we have these laws. Are we implementing them? The state governments are aware. For example, I'll give you Nasarawa for example. Nasarawa has a first action plan. They have an action plan which just recently expired 2 years ago. Okay, not so recently. 2 years ago. And we went to the ministry and we asked, do you know about this action plan? The Ministry of Women Affairs do not even know about the action plan. So if those responsible to take over the action plan, which is the government, and make sure it's holistically implemented and not aware of the action plan, then how is the common man, how is the woman selling akara on the street, selling kwakwa or what is it called, cheese on the street, awara? How is she going to know that she has a place by law that has been recognized for her to take over? So you also have traditional institutions. Prior to now, but a lot of states are already buying into that. You now see women taking off chief title titles. Back then, they would tell you women cannot take chief title titles. But now you have a lot of women. Even now, states now find pride that they have a daughter that they can crown and say, okay, this is the chief that we recognize that is from our place, that is doing exploits, great exploits, and taking the name of our states out elsewhere. But again, how many are they?
Okay.
Because you cannot come. We have rural communities that issues at that rural level are settled in the chief palace. Now you see 2 women fighting. On the table, they are all men. So what are they going to tell them? But if you have, they now recognize that, okay, if you have chiefs as one of us, as a woman, you say, oh, leave this one, we know where she's coming from. We can see the root cause of our problem, and they will find better ways to tackle it. And so we are also advocating for, okay, let us have more women in those traditional offices. Let's have women in politics. Let's have women in various spheres of life, because it's not just about numbers, but it's about representation.
Interesting. I'm thinking of going to take a chieftaincy title. I'm inspired. Okay, so
I'm thinking of the name you will take, though.
all right, thank you, sir, for that. So from your engagement so far, what are some of the key security challenges women face in these communities that, the states that have been selected for this project?
Majorly, what we have seen is about acceptance. So you still see a lot of male folks holding on to patriarchal thinking that this sector is not for women. It's just the male that will do this. Okay, there are some things you say, okay, women will not do at all. We still have, it will shock you that there are still beliefs that a lot of people will hold on to say that women will not inherit properties.
Yes.
That
Still
women cannot even, they will tell you women cannot buy land. That you go and call your husband.
Especially in the eastern part of the country.
And even, I won't call
Where I'm
you,
from.
I won't call you.
It's my people, I know them.
I won't call the regions. It will surprise you. It's not only in the eastern part of the country.
Well, I'm talking about where I know.
And so it's the change of mindset and orientation that we need to do. So we are also championing what is called the he for she champions. We look at male folks who have done outstanding well, who have supported the female gender all over the states, and try as much as possible to see how do they push and engage these individuals. So how do we get these men to actually push these women? How do we get them to say, okay, now that you are, how would I put it now? Now that you are well established, can we bring these women folks into, and we have a lot of male folks like that are he for she champions. We have male folks that say, the late Innocent Chukwuma has always been quoted to say, if he comes to his discussion, like there's a panel session and there's no woman represented, he was not going to speak. And that is him making a statement. So what happens if you have a governor coming to the building and looks and said, okay, you're all male, if there's no woman amongst you, I'm not going to be here. And that would pass a strong message. And so if you go around, there are a lot of things still pushing and hindering women from that inclusivity, that participation. But at the core of it is that until women folks start demanding that, let us bring them to the table for discussion, then a lot still needs to be done, and minimum things would not change if we don't demand for it.
Well, there's a whole lot. I like the fact that you're breaking this down from implementation, from institutions and all of that.
Policy
impact. But let's look at the fact no project is without challenges, of course, and you have your challenges. What have been the major obstacles in implementation so far? Because you've had your intention is to implement these policies. So what has been your major challenge so far, obstacle? Would I call it challenge or learnings? Because of this project, we've learned a lot. One would be that there's no quick fix to anything. It takes a gradual process. My people say you don't learn how to use your left hand in old age. So we know for a long time from where we are coming from, it will be an uphill tax. For example, we've been pushing for the 5 to 5 gender bill for the longest of times. And have we gotten that? No. But will we relent? No. We will keep pushing. So learnings, some of the learnings are, yes, the male folks are still very reluctant to say, come into the table, let's have this discussion. Okay, for example, we are also pushing, okay, let us have those special seats. Let's have those special seats for women. So no matter what, yes, they have the numbers too, but no matter what, would have representation. Because there is no me without you. You cannot shave a man's hair behind him. If a woman is not there,
it is not a woman. If you like, have 15 daughters, marry 20 wives, she is not there, you cannot speak for her. So those challenges are things we know that gradually we would succumb, but it takes a long time, and that's why we're taking it one step at a time. We started with Plateau, Kaduna, and there's Gombe. Right now, I think Gombe has the highest amount of women chiefs, actually, over 100.
And they're not doing badly in terms
they are actually not doing badly. And we can see that there are issues that come up and they'll say, go and call me this chief, or she's the one. It is our people, let her handle. Because they've understood the facts and the quality of women that they brought to the table for discussions. Because there's nowhere you bring a woman to the table for discussion that she will not give you a different perspective.
True. I would like to ask, which of the states have you faced most difficulty in? And why? Why do you think?
I don't think there are states that we face most difficulty. It's like every state has its own challenge because they have various contexts, be it religious, be it traditional, be it cultural. Every state has its own peculiar challenge. So I wouldn't say there's a most state that will face most challenges. But the good thing is that in most of the states we are working in, there's great acceptance. For example, in Nasarawa State, just for the first time we are visiting the state, the Commissioner of Women Affairs said, please, whenever you're in town, come to my office. Your office is my office. Whatever you want to do, we are in total support of it. We have received great tremendous support from Kaduna, Plateau State and alike. We had marvelous support from Benue, we have from Imo. So the states are very receptive.
Have you received same support from the male folks in those states?
So, okay, for example, now we do not have a lot of gender champions, that's the he for she's in states like Nasarawa and Imo State. And that's one of the things this project also aims to achieve. We'll look at those male folk. Although we also hear that the governor is a he for she champion. But again, we want to see deliberate steps taken by the state government to say, okay, these are the things I'm doing for women. Then we can say, yes, indeed, it goes beyond just calling you, but this, indeed, you are a he for she champion.
All right, before I let you go, Ben, and looking ahead, what should sustainability look like after this project? After the cycle ends?
Like I said earlier on, after this project, I want to see a situation where wherever it is, be it in a market square, be it in a school, or be it wherever they find themselves, a male folk find himself, and he walks into a room for a discussion, and a woman is not there, he asks where are the women. The one instance is where we would be aware sensitively that if we do not deliberately bring the women folks into discussion, then we are excluding them deliberately. And so sustainability for us is we want to see the state government take up this project and say, okay, this is what we are doing for the women folks in terms of participation, in terms of empowerment, and all that. We want to see, for example, in the states we are working in, that the state comes up with a plan. For example, in Adamawa State, it was when the governor was elected, he said, for every deputy, it has to be a woman. That is being deliberate. If he comes and say, okay, we are moving from every deputy, from half of the state, women must head the local government. Let's start from the local government level. Then let's see how we grow it into the state government and various ministries and parastatals.
Okay, we've seen that and it's very clear, but I want to ask, what role do you think the media, the citizens themselves can do to support this initiative?
Okay, thank you very much for asking that question, because I have generally kind of forgotten about the media. We also have an initiative called the Media Network for WPS. So what we try to do is, because I said, if it is not reported, then it is not done. So one thing we would like the media folks to do is to actually publicize it. Always put them in the folks in the center. And I'll give it to your show, The Women's World. If we do not promote the women, then
what are you doing?
What are you doing? And so in every of our programs, let's see how we would actually champion the causes of women, peace and security.
All right, thank you so much, Bernard. Thank you very much. The message is clear. Peace is more sustainable when women are part of the process.
From Imo to Benue, Plateau to Kaduna and Nasarawa, women are proving that security is not just about force, but about inclusion, dialogue, and trust.
Our thanks to Bernard Ekobe, Programs Manager at Clean Foundation, for sharing
your insights.
When he actually said he was the senior project manager.
Senior project manager.
I beg your pardon, senior project.
You want me to come and anchor with you?
All right, that's it on Women's World on Global Television. To stay connected, kindly join us on all our social media platforms using @Global TV NG. Till we'll come your way again. I am Kike Lomo Okere, and with me is Aniete Patrick and Priscilla Obasi.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.